welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Batman: The Adventures Continue, Issue 3 by DC. Now, there is fighting, violence, destruction, fire, and attempted murder in this one. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the team. So, when we left off in issue 2, Deathstroke and Robin, Tim Drake, were facing off with Firefly, and he just opened his the mouth of his suit and shot fire at them, which was new. So here we continue with that. They're running away from him, but things aren't looking good. Robin is a bit trapped in the fire there. Deathstroke tries to save him, trying to fight him off, and Robin's wondering why the sprinklers aren't turning on. And it's because Firefly turned them off in advance. He's a smart little fly, isn't he? So things aren't looking too good. They need to get out of there. A little before that, Deathstroke jumps in and picks up Robin, so they have to get out of there. But Fireflies are like not going anywhere. Is like you're not going anywhere. But then suddenly the sprinklers turn on, and they're looking like what? And Deathstroke is thinking, clever, and Batman appears. Why he did that though, it won't turn off Firefly's fire, but because of all the smoke, he's not going to be able to see. And Batsy already has special lenses that allow him to see with all the smoke. So he sees Firefly clear as day. So he jumps down and he punches him in the face, hits him in the right eye. And he falls, then he approaches him, and the Firefly is obviously very angry. Sorry. And he tells Batman, I will, I'll burn you, Bats, but not today. And then I think he shoots more fire from his hands, or maybe his suit somewhere, and makes a hole in the wall and escapes. They get out as well. There's still some more fire inside the museum. They go outside, and Robin's like, should we split up, then we can find him? And Batman's like, go home. And, Robin starts to argue, but Batman's all angry now. And then, Deathstroke approaches to talk to him, and he's like, I hope you're not too mad at the kid, He wanted to join, I went with him. And again, Batman's like, stay away from, from him. Like, what do you want? Who sent you here? Because Deathstroke is there to get Firefly. And he tells them the FBI, the ASN, was it? MI6, sorry. And it's like, I was paid to get him by the good guys. So, and then Batman's like, I'm not pro-assassinations, so when you find him, you call me. And Deathstroke's already took off his mask, and he's like, are you going to leave me your number? And he turns around, and Batman's already gone. Deathstroke's like, what I thought. And then on the rooftop, we see Jason Todd looking at all of this. So that's that, and then, 1 moment. Yeah, come on. Okay, there we go. 1 second. Okay, and then we're back in the Batcave. It's morning now. Tim's grounded. Barbara says hello to him, like, where's everyone? Bruce and Alfred are down below. They're looking at photos of Jason Todd. They don't know it's Jason Todd yet. He's this great athlete, and because it looks like he just, I don't know, somehow flies. Alfred makes a snarky remark about that. Maybe you fly, they do that in Metropolis. Okay, 1 second. Okay. And then that happens. Yeah, so, Batman says he's not flying, he just has the same kind of grapple thing that Batman has, but the rope is much thinner so you can barely see it. Because when he jumped off, it was in their encounter in issue 2. The next building was like a block away, but that's how he did it. So they still don't know who he is and what he's doing there. So that's essentially what they discuss, and then I don't remember. Did they mention Slade then? Deathstroke. I don't think. 1 second. Does he mention him? Yeah, let's try before I got there. Okay, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then we go back to Jason. He's jumping off more buildings, going. I think he's above the warehouse where Deathstroke is residing. And he's listening in with some device. Then we see Deathstroke. He's putting on the suit. And that young woman that was with him, she's standing there. She's got a black eye. And we see Firefly's suit. That wasn't really Firefly. It was her in that suit. And he starts to say some joke about, blue eyes. Well, because she got a black eye. This is something like that. And she said, not funny, Slade. And he tells her, well, you knew we'd have to face him eventually. And she said, yeah, I didn't think it would be so soon. And he's like, everything's going according to plan. The encounter that we had couldn't have gone better. And she says, well, you better tell him that. And then he goes to the computer, and all fancy like my liege. And who is behind this? Who wanted him to kill Batman? Lex Luthor. Yep, because of the embarrassment of what happened in the first issue, he's very, very pissed. And so, because of this transgression, he's gonna have Batsy killed. Yeah, well, simple as that. Now you miss when villains were that simple. And we didn't have sob stories for each one. Okay, anyway. So yeah, he's behind all this. He wants him to kill Batman. And he tells him, Deathstroke tells him Batman will be dead within 24 hours. Then we will toast to his death. And up on the roof, Jason's hearing all that, and he looks shocked. Which is interesting, because I thought that perhaps Jason was there. I don't know, because he's obviously very angry with Bruce for not, taking care of the Joker. And I thought he wouldn't really care here, but he seems to be upset about this. So, and then after Luthor hangs up, sorry, Deathstroke's assistant says, what, 24 hours? Yeah, it's not enough time. How can we do it so soon? Now, before that, Luthor was explaining to Lex Luthor that Batman's like himself, that he plans a lot and he's always ready and is, needs time for this. He's much like himself. So he tells then his assistant that, yes, they will be doing it in 24 hours, because if not, Batman will have too much time to think about this whole thing. So, it is decided. We go back to the Batcave. It is evening. Bruce and Tim are having dinner. Now, Tim is grounded, and he tries to kind of say, this is James Bond movie, maybe we can go. And I think Alfred said, but, I know I'm grounded, but that was Robin that was grounded, right? And Bruce is like, no, they're not going to go see a movie. And Alfred gives him a glass of milk or something and tells him, nice try, sir. And then they look outside and they see that the bat signal is up. And Alfred remarks on, geez, it's barely dusk. So Batman arrives to the police station, and we see Gordon and 2 policemen passed out. Or Batman goes to check for pulse, but Slade Wilson arrives and tells him they're fine. They're just knocked out. They weren't so pleased with me using the bat signal. And he's like, come on, I got Firefly. You know, dead or alive, he's coming back with me because he got paid for this job. So the Batman follows him. They go to this old place. Sorry, this old place. Let me look. It's like this place that holds a lot of water. Oh, wait, let me read you what place that is. If you hear anything, that's Doyle. Yeah, okay, wait, where did he go? Ah, yeah, dead or alive. Oh, sorry, right. Before that, we get a scene with Barbara. She's in the university. Tim calls her and tells her that, that Bruce left and he hasn't told him where and turned off his communications, which he hasn't done. It's weird for him. And Barbara tells him, I'm in here in the library. I'm working. And so, I don't have any excitement, but then she picks up a book to return, and it's called The Historical Society. And in there's like a bookmark that has the words on it, it's a trap. And then Tim asks Barbara, are you still there? What's going on? And she says nothing, I think. And then we see Jason leaving the library. Okay, they are the Tri-Stem State Den. There we go. That's where they are. So there's an explosive device on there. Deathstroke starts to not disengage it, but to cut the cords on it. And Batman's thinking that there's going to take a lot more explosive than that in order to blow up the dam. So he goes up top to look for more. And then he's ambushed by Firefly, in this case, his assistant. Deathstroke's assistant, who pretends to be Firefly. And as he's dodging the attacks, Batsy's thinking, this is his voice, but he doesn't have that, edge to it like he used to. And all sorts of other, like how he doesn't talk like he used to either. So Batsy has already been suspicious. So then knocks her out, or knocks Firefly out with he throws this ice pill. Firefly falls, and Batman goes down after him, takes off the helmet, and of course it's Deathstroke's assistant, and he looks at her and he says, barely 20. Who is she? But then Deathstroke attacks him, and Deathstroke jumps on and gets behind him, and Batsy's like, I knew it. Which, Batsy probably already, there we go. It's a surprise that, he's surprised that she's so young, but then he turns and is like, that's not a surprise. And then he gets attacked by Deathstroke, who has his fancy sword, it's so fine that his vibrations can cause damage, or not vibrations, but with blades so refined. Vibrations. Okay, produce a cutting edge. Oh, and then he swings it and cuts Batsy in the back a bit, and tears off his cape, and it looks like he might actually get him. But before he finishes him off, or goes to, he's talking to him and says, I'm going to kill you, but I don't just want to kill you, I want your whole enterprise, your whole operations. What I'm going to do, I'm going to kill you, and then I'm going to burn your body, and then I'm going to pretend that Firefly did this, and I know where he is, and I'm going to go kill him, because he really is in a poor state right now, the real Firefly. And then I'm going to come back and look like this avenging hero. And the boy already likes me, but the girl's a little hesitant, but she'll warm up to me. But then, before he can swing his sword towards him, two batarangs with strings go to him, and Tim says, yakety yak. And he's like, and he tells Barbara, well, I thought the Joker had a mole to her mouth. And Deathstroke turns around and he cuts the cords. And he's like, well, a shame, I liked you too, but a few more heads added in isn't really a problem for me. And then Batsy gets to him. As the kids fight him, Batman goes to the assistant, and he pulls out a bottle of something flammable out of her suit, and he throws it at Deathstroke. Deathstroke's suit protects him from burning, but he's gonna rise up as he's burning. So, like, he tells Batman, my suit's this, all you did is make me look more intimidating. But he say, yeah, but the heat's gonna go up, won't it, Deathstroke? And he's like, shit, I gotta get out of here. He hits, I think he hits one of the huge, like, water containers, and it causes some kind of steam. And he's like, shit, I gotta get out, as he already takes off his mask. But then, Batsy takes a fire extinguisher from someone and throws it at his head. And he's knocked out, and Batsy's, extinguishing the fire that's on him. And Tim's standing there. I never really liked him that much, And then we go back to the Batcave. They're all down there, Bruce, Barbara, Tim, and Alfred. And he's like, how did you find me? Now this note that Jason left, it was in that book, and that book was about that Tridem. So Barbara says, I put 2 and 2 together. And Tim says, we put 2 and 2 together. Basically, that's how they found him. And then they inspect the note, but all it has is Barbara's fingerprints on it. And they're wondering, okay, so there's someone who knows who we really are. He knows who Barbara is. He knows obviously knows who Bruce is. And that someone who's playing a cat and mouse game with them. Oops, sorry. But the question is, for what purpose? What does that someone want? 1 second, let me even read you what it says. Come on. There we go. Yeah, there we go. The question is, what does he want? And why this cat and mouse game? And that's it. That's where the issue ends. We see Jason sitting on a gargoyle smiling. And then next, the Wrath of Azrael. Woo! And yeah, that's it. That's where the issue ends. Okay, so first, cover. It is, of course, a bit misleading, because it looks like Bruce, and it looks like Batman's going to be attacked by his own sidekicks here, together with Deathstroke, but it never even comes to that. Again, I like the art, but I find that the compositions, like, I don't like how they don't really, well, I know they lie a bit on comic covers, it's not a new thing, but I wish they at least, showed you a more, I don't know, nicer scene or something. I guess in this, at least it's more proportionate. It makes more sense. You see Batman turning around, and then you got Tim, you got Deathstroke, you got Batgirl, Robin, sorry. So yeah, at least this is more proportionate, but I don't know. Still wish it was more true to what's happening inside. But regardless, it's got good colors and everything. Okay, let me show you some art. So you see there's Robin, there's Deathstroke, there's Firefly, or as we know, his assistant in a Firefly costume or suit. Oh yeah, another thing that alerts Batsy is the height. The height of the assistant, because you see Firefly wears these boots, so he should be taller than Batsy wearing them, but he's not, and that's another thing that alerts him that it's not actually Firefly. Which is interesting, because Deathstroke says, I plan everything like him. You think if you want to fool Batman as well as you can, you would get someone that would work for you, but would, be a much better match for, a much better match for Firefly. But then again, I suppose, how should I put it? I suppose again, Luthor probably wanted him dead a lot faster, so it's not like Deathstroke had months and months to prepare and lure Batman in. Though to be fair, he probably wouldn't have succeeded so easily even with months and months. Batman would still be incredibly suspicious of him. So yeah, that was the art. Well, again, like I said, if you like the art style of the animated series, as you can see, it's practically the same thing. So fantastic. All right, so the story, it didn't go as I thought it would. I kind of thought there would be another part where Deathstroke does get Batgirl and Robin on his side, kind of, or impresses them really, and then kind of makes them fight Batman, but that didn't happen. But the other thing, I thought maybe he would lure her and him to somewhere and then use that to draw Batman in. But also, again, he said, I have to work fast. So interesting. I didn't think it was, that it was Luthor that wanted Batsy dead. I guess in a way maybe I should have thought of that after what happened in issue 1. But yeah, still pretty cool. I wonder what they've done with Deathstroke after. Did they send him to prison? What they've done with the assistant? I guess maybe they did send him to prison or something. Or they just, I imagine Deathstroke will get away eventually anyway. But I wonder if Batsy would have gone after Firefly, though. If he's badly hurt, I imagine he's going to be out of commission for a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the most interesting thing here, though, really is the thing with Jason Todd. What's he thinking? Okay, he's back in Gotham, but what does he want? At first I thought, maybe he wants to kill Batman, which again could still be possible, because just because he warned Barbara and that got her and Robin to go and look for Batman doesn't necessarily mean he wants to help. It could be that he wants, to kill Batman himself. But of course, he doesn't want to be recognized right now. So he gave a clue and expected them to figure it out. And he gave a pretty obvious clue for someone that's been educated by Batsy. So again, I'm wondering what's his end game. Like Batsy said, what is this cat and mouse game? What does he want? Is he there to settle? Does he want something out of Bruce? Does he want something? Why is he back? What is he going to do? I don't know if that's going to be concluded in this one. Because like I said again, I think this was originally going to be 12 issues. But then it was cut because I only got up till 8. And as I think I bitched about the whole season thing, so maybe later on they've done more and that's where it wraps up. I don't know. A lot of things changed between then and now. Remember, this came out in like 2020 to 2020 something, but yeah, it took me a while to get to it. But yeah, I'm very much curious to see what's going to happen here. I'm most curious about Jason, but I'm really so far enjoying the adventures that they're having. It's all pretty cool. And nice nostalgia with the Batman animated series. I mean, it reminds of, well, obviously, it's that, and it continues those adventures. Alright, folks, so that was issue 3. Let me know what you thought about it. I'm definitely looking forward to see what's going to happen in issue 4. I haven't read much Azrael, to be fair, though, but still very interested to see how he's going to look here. Alright, folks, that is it. Remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!